This is the Flathead Valley Sports Haven, a brand new segment where I focus on current and former Flathead Valley area players, coaches, and sports figures, highlighting the best athletics the Valley has to offer. I'm your host, Cole Havens, and today in studio, I have a former Whitefish High School standout athlete and now current assistant coach, Chaffin Ross. Chaffin, thanks for joining me here today.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Cole.
Well, let's start off with, obviously, by the time folks listen to this, it may be after the event, but one of the big reasons I want to have you on today is the 2015 state championship team at Whitefish High School, one of only 2 state championships in school history. You were on that team. Let's just start off with, first of all, what does it mean to see that team honored here today?
You know, it's awesome. I think back and I remember all of the awesome friends that I made on that team and the year that we had, and it was something really special. So it feels special to be honored that way.
And then what does it mean to be one of only 2 teams to win a state championship in Whitefish?
Yeah, you know, I remember in 2015 before the state game, we had a few players from the last state championship that came and talked to us and talked about how special it was for them, and not only to them as people and players, but to the city of Whitefish. You know, it was the whole town came together and supported the team. It was really cool.
So you and I actually have a cool tie because my dad was on that 79 championship team. Chuck Brown, who does the music for Whitefish, he was on that team. To be part of that small, I guess, brotherhood, if you will, that's going to be pretty special, right?
Oh, yeah. It was awesome. And Chuck Brown was one of the guys that came and spoke to us a bit, so it was cool.
Well, perfect. Well, hey, you are a Whitefish alum. You went to Whitefish High School, obviously, on that 2015 championship team. How about let's just start off with what's it like to be from Whitefish? What does it mean to call Whitefish home, to have gone to Whitefish High School? What did that do for you life-wise?
Oh, man. You know, I think growing up in Whitefish instilled a lot of really good values in me as a person. My parents were very involved in my life and were super supportive. And, you know, I played for my dad on that 2015 team, and I really learned a lot from them and the community of Whitefish. It was really cool, and I think it helped me be a better person because I grew up in that small town community and relied on the people around me.
I was going to say, I think the late, great John Michaels, rest in peace, I think he gave you the nickname The Claw or something along those lines. Take me through where that kind of originated.
Oh, you know, I have some kind of long arms, and sometimes I would make a tackle and I would only, you know, grab a piece of the jersey, but that was enough for me, and I was able to drag people down with just a hand back then.
Could you still do that if asked right now?
I don't know. It depends who I'm tackling, I guess. It didn't work so well in college.
I feel like one of your current players, Jake Thu, is kind of on that kind of trajectory.
Yeah. I think it's funny that you mentioned that because I played D-end in high school as well, and he's right there. You know, a couple times he's got a couple really good sacks this year, and he's right there on a couple others. So it's cool to see.
Well, and then, talk to me about what was it like we'll get into coaching with your dad, but to play for your dad, to have your dad be the head coach at the time.
Yeah, it was really cool. You know, we've always had a really good relationship, even in high school. And so he didn't coach my position. I actually played for Coach Boyle, both on the defensive and offensive line. So I didn't have a whole lot of interaction with him in practice just because, you know, he was coaching the other positions that I didn't play. So not a whole lot of interaction in practice. In games, you know, we would talk a bit more, but it was really cool to just, you know, be able to play with your dad the whole time.
I've heard, too, from kids that have played for their dads, how sometimes you have to really be able to separate dad from coach. You have to be able to separate son from athlete. Do you feel like your dad was able to do that well with you, that you were able to kind of know, hey, at practice, this is my coach type of thing, and then afterwards, he's my dad? Or did you guys really ever have to discuss that?
You know, maybe early on, like my freshman year or something in high school, but again, we didn't interact a whole lot during practice, so it made it kind of easy for us.
So by default, it made it easy.
Yeah. Maybe if he coached me directly, it would have been a little bit harder to delineate that line, but it was all right.
Obviously, I know the 2015 state championship is going to be right up there in terms of accolades, in terms of memories, but take me through maybe something else that stands out to you about that season. I know we hear about all the time the bus ride going to Havre to start the season where you couldn't go the main way and you had to go the long way around. But what's maybe a memory from that year, aside from the state championship, that really sticks out to you from playing that year, playing on that team?
Sure. There's a couple. One of them was playing Miles City the week before. You know, we had a great season. We only lost once to Dillon in week 2, and then we kind of rolled the rest of the year until Miles City, and we were down at halftime, I remember, and we came into the locker room, and there was you know, maybe some maybes being thrown around, and then, you know, Chris Park, one of the captains, and Alex Curry, they stepped up and said, you know, we're going to go win this game. And we came out at halftime, and we didn't drive down the field like we wanted to, but our freshman kicker, Carver Gilman, hit something like a 40-plus yard field goal, and that's when everyone was like, oh, if our freshman kicker can make this, we can win this game. And it was just really cool to come together, fight through that adversity, and win in the semis on a really long road trip. Like, I think it took 12 hours to get there and back, and it was really cool.
And what were some of the other ones then? You said that's one of many? Yeah,
losing to Dillon, I think that was a defining moment. You know, week 2, you end 1-1, and, you know, we all thought, like, this is our year, and so we had to, like, persevere through that loss and really come together as a team to fight on. So,
do you feel like that loss helped change the outcome come playoff time?
I think it helped us prepare for playing a really good team. You know, and that loss, you know, we lost on a 2-point conversion in the fourth quarter, had a chance to drive down, went for it on 4th down and didn't get it. And so that's how we lost. And we all, you know, took that to heart and said, when we play them again, we're going to win this time. So,
yeah, listen to some of these numbers that I'm about to throw out. So, yeah, 11-1 record, like you said, capping off with a thrilling 17-13 victory over Dillon in the championship game, decided on the final play. But, yeah, like you said, only loss that year came at the hands of Dillon earlier in the season. That season, Whitefish averaged 45 points per game on offense, allowed just 8.5 points per contest on defense. That's a 36.5 scoring margin. Talk to me about the dominance you guys were able to display that season.
Yeah, you know, all credit to Luke May, man. He was really good. I don't think anyone's gonna fight you on that one. And Luke May, Chris Park, Brian, Jed, a lot of the guys, you know, playing wide receiver, running back, and the guys up front too. You know, I could list everyone on the team that was out there. So we just, like I said, it was a team effort. You know, those are some of the standouts that I just named, but we all came together, and it takes a team to win a championship.
One athlete too, I feel like a lot of people forget, and I believe I say she was on that roster, Haley Nicholson.
Oh yeah.
Talk to me about the importance. I know she was a standout soccer player at Whitefish, but to have I don't like to throw a female on the football team, but having a girl on the football team. But it seemed like I remember she was, because you guys were a year after my brother, and she was a standout athlete. What did it mean to have her on that football team and be a part of that success?
Yeah, you know, she was a great kicker and a great person. It was, you know, she came out to practice. She would kick after soccer practice, and I long snapped that year. So I got to stay after practice to long snap, and she would kick. And, I mean, I think she has some type of record for most.
I think it's most like consecutive made or something.
So it was, you know, it was comforting to have like the assurance that you're going to make PATs, right? In high school football, it's not always a guarantee. So to have someone that was able to come out and kick, you know, with that much consistency was awesome.
I feel like Whitefish football too. You look at Tate Orm this year, even going back to last year, really kind of solidified himself. But you look back just over the years, Whitefish has always seemed to have a kicker. Like whether it was a soccer player that came over or something, I don't know why, but it seems like Whitefish always seems to have, dating back at least to about that time, a kicker at their disposal. The luxury to have that, especially at high school, has got to be huge.
Yeah, I like I said, it was awesome. we couldn't have won state championship without her. So, you know, she made a field goal and 2 PATs, and that's 5 points.
Yeah, that's huge. Well, and then post-playing days, obviously, Whitefish High School graduate, then you go on to play collegiately. You said you went to the Colorado School of Mines, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Take me through, what was it like to be a collegiate athlete?
Yeah, it's different. Even Colorado School of Mines, they're D2, but it's much more a job. The coaching staff, they want to develop you as a player because they brought you in, but their job's to go out and win. It's much more at any college program. They're focused on winning, and so whoever's the best, they're going to play whoever's the best. And I like to use the analogy of big fish, small pond, small fish, big pond. That one, and going there, I transitioned from defensive end to outside linebacker, and there were 6 other outside linebackers who all played really well in high school, and they got recruited to go play there. And so I redshirted my freshman year, and then had the opportunity to play through there. Got a COVID year, and my last year was in 2021, and we went to the semifinals and lost by 3. And so that hurt, but it was an awesome experience. I learned so much.
I always feel like, I'm glad you kind of went to a D2 program, because you can talk about this, because I feel like the stigma around JUCOs, around smaller school programs, is really starting to change over the last several years. You're not seeing that stigma of, well, why would you go there when you could go D1 or whatever? Like, why? Like, the guys that are playing at a D2 program, at a JUCO program, it's not that they can't go the next level, right? They could easily play at the next level, but they want to play maybe a bigger part, right, in that smaller pond. Talk to me about the competition level that you still see at a D2 level, how good these athletes really are.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I got there, and there's a lot of other guys in the room, and I developed a lot of really good friendships there, but it was... I played special teams for a while, and I got my shot to play outside backer, and I started a few games my last year, but it was difficult. And, you're all still working towards the same goal. It's still football, but especially, Colorado School of Mines, we were playing at a pretty high level, and it was important to win. So you had to battle with those other guys to get on the field.
Do you feel like the stigma's changing around kind of that level of football? Because I feel like we've seen a positive shift instead of people saying, oh, well, you'll just go play for Western or Carroll. Now it's like, hey, you get to play for Western or Carroll type. I feel like that stigma is really shifting. Have you seen maybe a shift in that the last few years?
Yeah, I think that, the maybe social media and being able to, interact with those teams a bit more has made it, a lot easier for recognition to be at those lower levels. And it's funny, like Coach Stitt, he coached at Colorado School of Mines and left and went and coached the Grizz. Now he's back at Colorado School of Mines. So, I mean, the coaching is on par. So I think that I would agree with that. Yeah, it's definitely changing.
Well, and then take me through. So after your playing days, did you move back to Whitefish right away? What'd you do? Actually, let's even before we get to that, what was that moment like when you stepped onto the field for the last time? When you played your last down, did you know that was going to be it? And 2, what was that moment like?
Oh, that's hard. That's a good question. We were in the semis, so I knew we had at most 2 games left. So there's part of me, but man, I sure thought we were going to win. We all went out with the intention to win, and to only lose by 3 in the semis, that was really tough. But it was actually probably my highest production game in college, so I guess there's that. But it was surreal to stand there and know that that's the last time that you're going to get to go out and play the game you love. Yeah, that's what I got.
So what was that moment like then? What was kind of going through your head when maybe a week later football is done and you're like, okay, now what?
So I was working on my degree.
Or were you ready for it to be over?
A little bit. A little bit of both. There's part of you that's pretty tired after playing, 5.5 years of college football and all the football before that. You definitely get tired, but I wanted it so bad that I actually stuck around in GA'd for a semester there and helped coach outside backers at Mines while I finished my master's degree, and then went and worked for a bit. So, and then that's when I moved back to Whitefish.
Gotcha. So you kind of started to coach a little bit. Talk to me about getting into those we will get to you here at Whitefish here in a second, but getting into that coaching role. How much, I guess, that had to be kind of a nice transition to be able to go from player to coach, to be able to kind of continue the game you love, even in a different way.
Sure. Since that I had been playing there at outside backer the whole time that I was at Mines, it was pretty natural. The linebacker coach, he got hired, Coach Moore, Brendan Moore, he got hired as the head coach at Colorado School Mines right after I was done. So I got to coach under him and coach the position that I had been playing. So I knew the guys really well, had a good rapport with them. So it was a pretty easy transition that way.
And then, so do you feel like that really helped in terms of, I guess, that next chapter?
Yeah, no, I think absolutely. I learned so much from Coach Moore and the Colorado School Mines defense that it was awesome to be able to convey that to the players that were still on the team. And, they went on to play in the national championship the 2 years after that. So just to be still a part of that and I guess try to give back a little bit, it was really cool.
So take me through now. You get to move back to Whitefish. What year was it and what kind of brought you back?
Yeah, so my wife and I, we moved to Utah and worked for a couple of years, and then, we started a family and had a baby, and so we decided to move back here home to get around the community that, I grew up and loved, and, be outdoors and stuff like that. It's just super special. And so we moved back just last October of 2024. So been here almost a year now. And I couldn't wait to get back into coaching. So, and
then you, I remember, I see you on the sideline. I think it was at the Steve I game, and now in your kind of first, I guess, full year as an assistant, second year in general, but first kind of full year. Take me through kind of what you learned last year coaching, and what have you been able to take into this year coaching wise?
Sure. So, like you said, I came in just right at the end of the season last year, and it was really to kind of try to develop a relationship, with the kids on the team. No one likes to be coached by someone they have no idea who they are. So
even if it is someone that was just in their shoes years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So it was important. I think that if I wanted to continue coaching and things like that, to develop a relationship with the players and the coaching staff.
Do the players know? I guess I gotta imagine some of the guys know the history of Whitefish football, know the two teams that have won the state championship. Do you have any kids that come up to you and ask you about that season? Has there been any, hey, tell me about what that season was like, or what you guys were able to do to get better type of thing? Have you had any of that from the current guys?
Yeah, a couple times they'll come up and ask me about it. And Coach Logan Wynn, he's also coaching, and he played on the 2015 team with me, and so we both get asked about it occasionally.
Do you like that? Do you like knowing that players are, in a sense, astute to that they know kind of some of that history and lineage?
Yeah, I feel pretty honored when they ask me about it, but it's also, trying to make comparisons across a 10-year time span is difficult. And I think that, times change and teams change, and every winning team, they have parts that are the same, but they have different things that make up the winning team. And so I think finding your own identity as a team is also really important.
And take me through that too. Now, obviously, Coach Bulldog is the head coach here. Your dad coming back as an assistant. You getting to coach with your dad. This entire coaching staff, for the most part, the core, coach that 2015 team. What's it like to have that core group still here, and now being able to be a part of it as a coach?
Yeah, it's really cool. Like you said, I played for all those guys, Coach Boyle, Coach Bulldog, and being able to coach with my dad is just so special. After we won the game, I remember hugging him on the field, and it was an amazing moment. And to be able to come back and be able to coach with those guys, it's really special. And I'm honored that Coach Bulldog's allowed me to come help out. I
want to say I feel like another thing that's just so great about Whitefish. We saw Mac Roach do it a couple of years ago, come back and coach, and now he's the head coach at Flathead High School type of thing. Talk to me about just into that more of that brotherhood, that camaraderie, the community aspect, to be able to come back and know, hey, that's always going to kind of be there.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's really cool to be able to be a part of that and be a part of the team again, and like just give back to the community that raised me and brought me so much joy in my life, and to be able to try and give that to the kids, it's really cool.
again, 2 state championships in Whitefish High School history. They've been in the title game a few times. Now this 2025 team looking to do it. Take me through this team in general right now. Where is the 25 team trending right now?
They were 1-1. Our state team was 1-1 to start out. So you can't count them out at all. I mean, they are working really hard, and they're a good team. I'll go on and I'll argue that for sure. A 4-point game against Hamilton. A really good game against Corvallis, and I think that they're right on the cusp of breaking out there. And there's a lot of really good players on the team, and I think they just need a step to come together, and they're doing that. And we see that in practice every day. So I'm really excited to see what happens.
Perfect. Again, 2015 state champion Chaffin Ross joining me here in the studio, going from being a Whitefish High School athlete to moving on to college to moving away. Take me. What was it like coming back, that moment when you came back to Whitefish? Because I know just talking with people, it's a town you need to get away from for a little bit, right? You need to, and when you come back, you almost kind of respect the place more, have a greater appreciation for the place. Do you feel like you gained that by being away for
Absolutely.
a few years?
Yeah, I really do. And, we visited over the years, and, my wife came to love the town enough to move here with me. So it's just a really special place, I think. And when you move away, you truly realize that. And a lot of people, say that it's changed a lot, and it has changed. Maybe I moved to Denver, and then I lived, just outside of Salt Lake. So coming back, it didn't feel like it had changed maybe that much as someone who's been here and seen it the whole time. But it's a special place, and I hope people realize that.
And then I got to ask, because no state championship is you can't talk about the 2015 state championship without mentioning John Michaels, one of the most phenomenal people, diehard Bulldog fan, a legend. Take me through. I got to ask you, because you like me he called all your games. What was it like to have him on the mic? What was that moment like? I know you guys were celebrating, but you feel his voice. I know when you guys play. I know you do. What was it like to have him on the call for that?
It was really cool. Like you said, diehard Bulldog fan, and he'd done it for a long time. I think, I'm sure it was very special for him too to be able to witness it. Like I said, the whole community. We had bus loads of people come down to Dillon, and we got back from Dillon and drove through downtown, and there was just a bunch of people out celebrating. And so for him to be a part of that, I think was special, not only for us and for him, but the whole community of Whitefish.
And then take me through, because one thing that I didn't realize was when I came back last year in that first football game as Rock, and the environment, the atmosphere that the Dog Pound presents each and every game. Both games, home games so far this year, looks like sellout crowds. Take me through what's it like to play in front of this community? Because it's, I've been to other areas. I've seen other high schools. Whitefish does it differently game day Friday nights.
Oh, yeah, it's a special place for sure. And the game that comes to mind, is actually my junior year, so 2014 against Columbia Falls. They were ranked number 1 in the state. And so I think the entire town of Whitefish and the entire town of Sioux Falls were in there. And I just remember looking out and not being able to see past like the first row of people on the boards there at Memorial Field. And it was special. We went on to win, and it was just like stormed the field. It was one of the coolest things that happened in all of high school for sure.
You guys walk out usually about 10 after 6 to get on the field. Chuck Brown's got the music going. It's usually Metallica, Enter Sandman, or something like that. Do you feel like you're ready to put the pads on when you walk out?
I don't think you can't not want to do that, no matter how old you are, coming out to stuff like that, especially at the place that you used to play. It's a special place for sure.
Again, Chaffin Ross, 2015 state champion at Whitefish High School, one of only 2 championships in program history. One last before we get going, again, to be able to see this team honored. I know you're going to be coaching. You might not be at the halftime celebration because you have a job to do, but take me through just that moment once again to be able to see this team, have you guys honored. What's that going to mean?
Man, I just feel humbled that the community and the staff and everyone that they would recognize us for that, and it's just a full circle moment for me, to move away, come back, coach, and just be able to be a part of it again. It's really cool.
Perfect. I think that's all I got for you. Hey, thanks for coming on today. It's been a pleasure to share this story. And yeah, congratulations once again.
Thanks, Cole. Thanks for having me.